Tucked away in an industrial estate in Melbourne's east is a factory that produces much of the nation's toilet paper.
800 million rolls, I think, would be the best way to quantify it. And we've been producing sorbent toilet tissue in this same manufacturing location here in Box Hill for the past 70 years.
To make nearly 1 billion toilet rolls annually, the factory uses a lot of gas as it turns wood and paper into soft toilet tissue.
We air dry the paper, the tissue paper. We need to generate steam and heat. So it's very, very energy intensive process.
In all its years of operation, Steve says Sorbent has never seen gas prices like those he's facing from the start of January.
We were aghast to see that the increase is 290%. It's just south of 300%. That's an enormous cost burden. A 300% increase translates into millions and millions of dollars.
Steve Nicholson says all options are being considered to deal with the price rise, even unpalatable ones, such as sending work offshore or raising retail prices.
We have 300 employees across our 2 production sites, and we want to preserve those roles. The last option we want to consider is to pass on these cost burdens to our consumer. But we're looking at everything.
Since Russia invaded Ukraine in February, sparking an embargo of its coal and gas exports, prices for the commodities have reached some of the highest levels ever recorded.
Extraordinary times call for extraordinary measures.
From his official Sydney residence, where he's quarantining with COVID-19, the Prime Minister met virtually with premiers and chief ministers on Friday, agreeing to cap domestic coal and gas prices and to boost power bill subsidies.
Keeping Australians in work, keeping industry going, and making sure that families and businesses can pay their bills.
The federal government says the average household will be about $230 better off than it otherwise would have been, thanks to $3 billion in Commonwealth and state subsidies for vulnerable households and businesses, along with capping natural gas prices at $12 a gigajoule and thermal coal at $125 a tonne.
It's a move in the right direction, but we'd like to see the detail, and we'd like to see what's in it for locally manufacturers such as ourselves in terms of cost alleviation.
We need policy stability and certainty, and unfortunately what we're getting instead is ad hoc interventions after ad hoc interventions by this government.
I think what they've done is the best that they could do under the current circumstances, and we do have a really urgent and untenable problem here.
An energy-intensive operation currently bleeding cash and customers.
Back in June, 7:30 visited this manufacturing business in the regional New South Wales town of Young. The company converts mineral-rich rocks into magnesium oxide, a product crucial to making farm fertilisers along with feed for livestock. Back then, gas prices were already biting.
The cost of gas at the moment for some of our products is actually more than the cost of the product itself. It's been nothing short of a miracle that we're still around.
His company employs dozens of people in the small town. But as orders have stopped coming in, their workload has fallen further still over the past 6 months.
We stopped keeping account, but we have lost more than $1 million worth of business, which is a significant amount for a small business like ours. Most of our customers are finding that the prices we are quoting are not competitive, and they can get products from overseas made in China at cheaper prices.
Aditya's company buys gas via retailers, not directly from the big gas producers covered by the price cap.
Steps taken by the government certainly will provide some relief from the high prices, but we do not know what the retailers will do, and we hope that they will take the announcement by the government in the right spirit and not gouge manufacturing industries by charging very high or ridiculous margins.
Australian gas producers signed an agreement with the federal government just at the end of September that assured supply to the domestic market. It assured supply on competitive terms, but we didn't give this mechanism a chance to work before the government stepped in with further interventions.
Samantha McCulloch leads the peak body for the gas exploration and production industry.
We're united with everyone else in wanting to see these prices come down and see relief for Australian households and Australian industry. The key to doing that is bringing on that new supply.
Supply takes somewhere between 5 and 10 years to come on. So more supply is not the answer to the problem that we have right now. The problem that we have right now is a price problem that's caused by a war somewhere else.
If they truly were Australians, they cared about fellow Australians, they should be supplying the gas at lower prices to make manufacturing businesses viable here and prevent losses of thousands of jobs all across Australia.
Federal Parliament is being recalled this Thursday to consider much of the package, but the Coalition and the Greens have not pledged support in the Senate, where Labor doesn't have the numbers.
We're not going to support a plan that is going to have devastating impacts in the medium and long term on our economy.
At the moment, the government doesn't have a crucial piece of the package, which is helping households and businesses get off gas.
Back at the paper factory, Steve Nicholson hopes public pressure to deliver cost of living relief will see federal politicians pass the legislation this week.
Well, I think it's a step in the right direction and we need it to be passed.